What's up, guys? It's Jensen and welcome to another video. So I'm ranking the top 5 power forwards in the NBA as of right now. Things will change depending on what happens in the playoffs, but for now, here's the list. Number 5, I got Domantas Sabonis. Number 4, I got Kristaps Porzingis. Number 3, I got Pascal Siakam. At number 2, I got Anthony Davis. And at number 1, I got Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let's start at number 5. I think that Domantas Sabonis right now, I think he's the 5th best power forward in the NBA. Although I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be on this list eventually because that dude, his potential is limitless. But as of right now, I can't disrespect what Sabonis is doing in Indiana. He's so skilled. I mean, we forget about how skilled this dude is. He can finish around the hoop. He's solid at scoring. And I think that he has every trick in the bag. This dude, I think that at times we kind of underrate him because he plays in Indiana. He doesn't really get all the glimmer and shine there. And his game isn't exactly, as aerodynamic and fun as guys like Giannis. But I think that Sabonis, he's a really solid player in the NBA. We forget that he's an all-star. I think that we have to give Sabonis his props here. He's number 5 right now. Number 4, it's Kristaps Porzingis. And we forget about how dominant this dude could be. At 7'3", he can space the floor. He can finish around the hoop. He's actually pretty fast. He's pretty mobile for a guy who's 7'3". And on defense, he's a pretty good rim protector. I mean, he's pretty good at blocking shots. I think that this dude could be a really good defender as well, which is not something you can say about every power forward on this list. So I think that when we're talking about Kristaps Porzingis, I think that this dude is pretty impressive. He could be higher on this list, but I think he has to prove that he can stay healthy and be this dominant force that he's been over the past couple weeks. If he can do that on a consistent basis, I think I can move him up in the list potentially. At number 3, I got Pascal Siakam. And this dude, he's proving me completely wrong. I thought the Toronto Raptors would fall off a cliff now that Kawhi Leonard's not there. But Pascal Siakam, he really took a step up this season. He embraced the number 1 role. I didn't think he could be the number 1 player on a championship team. He proved me wrong this season. I mean, this dude, he's a pretty good scorer. Even though his jump shot is developing, it's not quite there yet. I think that this dude is going to find a jump shot eventually. He can finish around the hoop. I really like the fact that he can pass the ball. He's an elite ball handler. The entire package. On defense, he's versatile. He's a switchable type defender. I think that Pascal Siakam, I really underestimated this dude. I thought that he couldn't really be the number 1 option on the championship team. He's proven me wrong this season. I'm going to give him props. Number 3 on the list. At number 2, I got Anthony Davis. Even though he plays on the same team as LeBron James, we can't underestimate what Anthony Davis does for that team. He's an amazing rim protector. He's a nice alley-oop catcher. He can finish dunks. He's an unstoppable force in the paint. He can handle the ball because he was a point guard in high school. He has that ability. And I think that the one thing that could maybe boost Anthony Davis on this list, the number 1 potential, is if he had his own team. That's why I said he should sign with the New York Knicks, a team like that, where he can be the number 1 option. He can establish himself as a true top 5 player in the world. Even though I think he's a top 5 player in the world, some will say he's not because he's just feeding off LeBron's coattails, they say. I really don't think so. I think this dude's a stud. But I think that if he really wants to be number 1 on this list someday, I think he has to find his own team. Because Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't going anywhere. This dude's number 1 on the list. I think he'll be number 1 on this list for quite a bit. Unless Anthony Davis really takes a step up. And if Giannis gets a jump shot, I mean, it's absolutely over. Because I really like Giannis, what he can do in the paint. He's an unstoppable force. His jump shot is underrated. He's starting to finally put it all together. I think that ultimately, if he gets a jump shot, it would be the icing on the cake when we're talking about Giannis. But he's the number 1 power forward in the world as is right now because he's the best defender in the world right now, in my opinion. I used to think Kawhi Leonard, but I think that Giannis, the way he's so switchable, he can really guard virtually anyone in the NBA. I think that Giannis for now is number 1, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can get the number 1 player in the world title after this postseason. I mean, we'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting. This list could certainly change depending on what happens in the postseason. But I mean, we'll see how it goes. Thank you for watching this video, guys. Please like and subscribe. I'll be providing more NFL and NBA hot takes as the season goes on. Have a good day. Remember to follow me on Twitter, Jensen Sports. See y'all later.